Call the meeting of the Fiscal Court to order. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our second meeting of May. Seems like we just had a meeting. It runs pretty quick this month. Is there anyone here to address the court this morning? Didn't have anybody to call in, but all right, let's move into correspondence. Mike Arms from the Association of Tennessee Valley Governments sent out an email to everybody. Mike and Brent Greer, the county mayor down in Henry County, Tennessee, down in Paris, have been doing some talking with the folks in Knoxville, and it appears that the Tennessee Valley Authority will lower significantly their in lieu of tax payments for the coming year. Currently, TVA's FY 2012 year-to-date revenues are running significantly lower than last year. Although the impact is not yet certain, the best estimate at the present time shows that next year's in lieu of tax payments are likely to decline by 6 to 10%. So that's a pretty significant decrease for us. We will try to prepare for it. The decline in revenues is a result of the region's very mild winter, and they stated that although things are getting better, the slow economy continues to have its impact. Both of these factors have reduced the overall demand for power and has reduced TVA's revenues. So we'll continue to watch this. Mike and Brent are in constant contact with the folks down in Knoxville. As everybody knows, there has been a ongoing discussion between our campground operators and TVA with the leases for campgrounds, not only in Marshall County, but throughout the valley. The length of stay requirements on TVA land, some of the things that they say have been actually rules for 50 years, but have never been enforced. Well, it's causing quite a bit of confusion among the campground owners. No longer will they be able to have their those that they call permanent leases or permanent renters. Because now they're going to have to move their camper at least for 2 weeks, either within the campground or totally out of the campground. Other things like fixing up their fronts with little porches and things like that will no longer be allowed. And they say there's a lot of reasons for that. We had a meeting, if you recall, we had Jerry Faust and some of those people to come in. Try to do what we thought was a more reasonable approach. But anyway, these rules are going to go into effect in the year 2013. So our campground operators, although we've had several of them to reply to Mr. Faust in stating their objections. Apparently it's not doing any good. So I guess the campground operators will just have to enforce the rules as they're passed down to them. I don't know if there's anything we can do. We did, I think most of you, well, I know you were, Misty, you were here when we had the meeting with them, and we tried to present our case that we thought, well, you haven't enforced these rules in all these years. What is the urgency now? But anyway, it's not just us. It's valley-wide. We had a letter from a young fella in regard to a situation that happened back in September when some spike strips were put on the parkway, I guess, because y'all were trying to stop a kid that stole a car. And he said he had never been paid for his tires. Anyway, he wasn't involved. He just happened to be caught up in it. But Jeff and I looked at it, and the court said that restitution would be made. He was supposed to bring in his receipts, and I don't think he's ever done that as far as we can find out.
I don't have anything in my case file that reflects that.
Yeah. Jeff said that the kid involved, his mother had agreed to restitution, and he's just supposed to bring the receipts in. And so we talked to his insurance carrier this morning and said, well, we've looked into it, and until he does that, I don't know if there's anything we can do. I mean, the court has already ruled this case has already been disposed of, right, Jeff? And so, we'll stay in touch with Mr. Bob Nanny, who is his insurance carrier on that. I don't know whether he filed a claim with them or what, but,
Why don't we be discussing that here?
well, he wrote us, and when he called me and asked about it, and I said, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but if you'll write me a letter, we'll look into it, and he did, and Jeff and I have looked into it, and it looks like that all it needs is him to bring a receipt and be paid for it through juvenile court. We tried to get hold of Larry. Larry is apparently on vacation this week, I think. So we think we're on top of it. I don't know. From Marty Johnson, I just want to share this. There's nothing we have to do, I don't think. But Operation Bass is reorganizing to allow it to increase the number of its investors. The plan for the transaction is for Operation Bass, Inc., to transfer all of its assets to a wholly owned subsidiary, FLW Inc., and this subsidiary would assume all liabilities known and unknown of its parent. FLW Inc. is to be able to issue new membership interests to third-party investors once this is done. Since this transaction will involve the two capital leases of Operation Bass, Inc. has with the City, County, Industrial Development Authority, and the rental from those leases has been pledged to secure loans the authority has at CFSB, and those loans are partially guaranteed by the county. You, as county judge executive, are being made aware of this transaction. The purpose of this letter is solely to inform you of this transaction, and neither you nor the fiscal court should be required to take any formal action in this regard. If you have any questions, I'm sure they can be answered by a representative of CFSB or Operation Bass. It appears they're just changing their name, or from one to another, the payments are going to be the same. All right. Any other correspondence from anyone? You've all received the minutes of the May 1, 2012 meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes of the meeting?
I only have one, Judge, in the back where it references the animal control policy that we had passed out at the last meeting. It references it as being from another state, but that is actually the Kentucky policy for animal control.
Where are you talking about? Oh, I see it now.
That's actually the Kentucky policy that was recommended by the state through their advisory board, the one that we'll be reviewing this afternoon.
All right. It has Texas on it, but this is, just change that to Kentucky? From Texas, Kentucky, all right. All right, with that correction, any other corrections or additions to the minutes of the meeting?
I have none.
Motion approved, Judge.
I have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Last week, we talked about Jesse Holder becoming a member of Sanitation District Number 2, one of the Board of Directors, since we had the resignation of Mr. Smith. After he sold his business, he no longer had any holdings there in the district. I have not been able to talk to Mr. Holder. I don't know if y'all had an opportunity to talk with him.
No, I just thought you were talking.
Well, I just hadn't done it. Hadn't got a hold of him. We'll try again and bring that up again at another meeting. All right, next in old business, we have the second reading of budget ordinance 2012-05. And this is a budget amendment. Whereas the County of Marshall has received additional bank shares, franchise taxes, ambulance and equipment grant funds, spay-neuter grant funds, prisoner housing funds, Water Vision 2020 grant funds, and occupational tax funds. Now be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Marshall County that the annual budget for the fiscal year 2011-2012 is amended to reflect bank shares, 20,000, franchise tax 25, ambulance equipment grant 115,902, animal shelter spay neuter 2,000, contract with other counties 20,000, state prisoners 60,000, Water Vision 2020 97,696.26, occupational tax receipts by 300,000. The increase in the revenue account is $640,598.26. The expenditures, the ambulance service grant, 115,902, animal shelter spay neuter, 2,000. Reserve for transfer, 45. Reserve for transfer, 80. Water Vision 2020, 97, 696.26. Reserve for transfer, 300,000, showing the increased expenditure of 640,598.26. The amounts added to the revenue and expenditure accounts in Section 1 are for governmental purposes. This was approved by the Fiscal Court on the first day of May, the first reading, the first day of May 2012. I would ask your approval of the second reading of ordinance 2102-05. What is your pleasure?
Make a motion, Judge.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. This is the only one you need me to sign. The property that we talked about on Highway 1824, the old 641 between Hardin and Dexter, we did get that cleared, have everything hauled off. I've talked with Bobby Bogus, who is a farmer down in that area, who would be willing to crop that area for the county on a 75-25, which is, according to what I can understand, a standard rental agreement with farmers. It would keep us from having to go in there and keep it mowed. I mean, if we keep it cropped and at least get some revenue till we decide what we want to do with that property. It's about 5 acres, right, Russell? About 5 acres. But Mr. Bogus, Jeff and I talked with him when, Jeff, yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday. And he said he would be willing to crop it if that's, I told him I'd bring it before the court today. At least it would be some revenue. I don't know, I guess it depends on the yield of the crop, what it's gonna be. But it's, whatever y'all wanna do.
Keep it cleaned up more than anything.
Yeah, it would.
That, any issues with that, Jeff, or?
No, there's certain exceptions under the bidding for real estate, those unique type properties. And so I feel like it would fall in there if you feel comfortable that that is the going price and that this is a reliable tenant.
Well, you wanna buy it?
I don't know.
Do we have an assessed value of it?
We have a clue?
Yeah, well, I remember last week I said, I asked because I'd asked upstairs, and I think the assessed value was $6,500.
Yeah, 65.
65 was what they assessed it at upstairs.
PBA.
Terry, it's, if you're going toward Dexter on Old 641, you know where Glenn Warren,
Yeah.
Mr. Warren lived? It's across the road there. It's the old Conservation Club or Hunting Club, or I guess was started back in the 50s. It was given to us back, how many years ago, Jeff? I don't recall.
It's been since 97, so it's probably been 10, 11. Hmm?
It's either 99 or 2000.
When they gave it to us, turned it over to us. Okay. But
Seems like it'd just be easier if he just bought it to me. I mean, then we wouldn't have to, I mean, if he's interested in it, I don't know, just,
I don't know if he would be or not. He just said he would crop
It'd
it
be
for us, that's all I
surplus,
know.
it'd have to be surplus if we was gonna sell it, wouldn't it?
Yes. Yes, we'd have to declare it surplus property
Declare it
and then,
surplus and just let people bid on it.
and go to bid, and if that's what the court
guess.
desires, we can do that. I'm making a,
I mean, I don't know how many other people would have an interest in the property. Do you all have any idea?
Right on the road, there's no telling it.
And there are also certain exceptions that you can take advantage of if, in order to sell real estate and not actually go through the same surplus property requirements as other surplus.
I mean, I wouldn't wanna take anything
Their
up-
effort there
right.
is to make sure you can get the most out of it.
If I was gonna do that, I'd wanna market it through a realtor. If I was gonna, I mean, it's road frontage property. I don't know how much, quite a bit of road frontage there, and I don't think it, as far as I know, it doesn't flood.
Right.
At least all of it doesn't.
And
And
you can do something like that. The basic requirements is that there's public notice and no self-dealing or anything like that.
Jeff, if this fellow were to plant crops there and then we were to list it, he could be covered. I mean, that wouldn't be a problem, would it?
I don't think so. Right. I mean, that would be an exception to the contract.
well, he'd
I
be
mean, that's-
allowed to get his
I think
crop
that's
in. I
standard.
mean,
Yeah.
Standing crops.
yeah.
I'd make a motion to let him put a crop on it, and we can decide later if we wanna list it or whatever, how we wanna handle it. But I wouldn't just take surplus property bids on it. I don't think that's the best way to market it.
All right, you have a
If we wanna
motion,
sell it.
Squire Gold, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Allow Mr. Vargas to crop the 5 acres there.
Just keep it clean.
All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. At our last meeting, Larry was going to report on the mowing. Larry is out of town, that you got
He
the,
advised me that everything had been caught up.
okay. So we are caught up on our mowing. All right. Okay, is there any other old business? Any other old business?
Well, I guess we need to go ahead and pay that fellow then. We made a motion last meeting to pay him half of his
Yeah, that's right, Terry,
payment,
you're
so we
right.
probably should catch our
Catch him
payment
up. You'll make that motion.
Make the motion, we catch the payment up on the mowing
Okay.
contract.
I have a motion by Squire Anderson. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries.
Judge,
Any
you
oth-
were talking
oh,
about
I'm
old
sorry.
business. I'm sorry. Did you get the notice on the retro reflectivity notice that we're not gonna have to comply with that?
I didn't, no,
The,
I haven't.
I'm trying to think of who sent it to me, but the national committee that was making all the recommendations have taken off the timelines for that because of the strain it was putting on the local economies. I'll forward that email to you. They left in a few of the provisions, but the essence of what they passed down says that we only have to replace the signs to meet the criteria as needed. So they're not gonna put those deadlines on us, the 2015, 2018, those sorts of things. Just replace them as needed and make sure they meet the new retro reflectivity guidelines. I'll pass that
I
on to you.
think we've pretty much,
We're doing that right now.
Yeah, we've been moving along
Right,
on it,
right.
but we felt like, well, they told us. We
Right.
had the guidelines to go
That we
by.
had to, but it just takes
Yeah.
off that crunch time of having to spend all that money up front, just as they need to be replaced, so that's good news.
Well, as we continue to replace our signs, I think it would be wise, Russ, that we go ahead and meet those new guidelines. We just don't have, we're not in a crunch.
Right,
But we might as well go ahead and, as we replace signs, meet those new requirements. All right, any other old business? All right, let's move into new business. We have a bid opening today from the rescue squad. The Marsh County Fiscal Court will be accepting bids on the following items: a 1975 T-Craft and trailer, 27-foot 250cc six-cylinder can be seen to Marsh County Rescue Squad. Minimum bid is $500. 2001 Ford Econoline, mileage estimated at 238,225 miles, may be seen at the Rescue Squad. 1980 Ford Econoline 350 ambulance, which may be seen. All items are sold as is, no warranty available. Winning bidders must pick their items up within 10 days of the sale. All bids must be submitted to the Marsh County Fiscal Court, 1101 Main Street by 4:30 PM on Wednesday, the 9th of May, 2012. Bids should be legible in written form with signatures, addresses, and phone numbers of persons making the bid. The Marsh County Fiscal Court reserves the right to reject any and all bids. We have one bid. That's all that's been turned in to us. So they were to turn them in to the fiscal courtroom. This is from Mike Green, Universal Auto and Green's Towing. For the boat, $250. They had established a minimum bid of $500. For the 201 Ford Econoline, $400. And for the item number 3, the Ford Econoline ambulance, $300.
Judge, can we not surplus those vehicles like the sheriff does when he has his annual auction? Or the city police departments and things like that? Would we not have I mean, you did pretty well last year, I think. Is that not an option for some of these surplus vehicles?
I don't know, we were just doing what the rescue squad asked us to do.
Oh, no,
I
I'm
mean, that's-
I'm asking if that's an option for them. Can they
I
do
would,
that?
well, I would think so. I mean, it could be considered, or could, I would
Yeah,
think
I
they
mean,
could.
as long as it's advertised, I mean, what the way the sheriff does is another option in,
Yeah, we're fixing to do that with the old veterans vans, because I've got them down there at the sheriff's office, and when we have our next sale, we're including them.
It seems like
well.
it might be a good time.
But
to-
this bid didn't meet the minimum on the boat. And we did advertise, so I guess we could take action on those two items, or we could reject all of them. I don't,
Did they give us any indication whether those other two items had a minimum?
no,
No?
only the boat.
Could we just table that to maybe consult with them over the next few minutes and see if they would like to reject, or do we want to do that on their behalf? I'm not sure what they were expecting or needing the funds for. They might have,
Sure, we can try to get a hold of Chief Kirtner.
okay,
And before the end of the meeting, we'll just table that for
Okay.
right now and try to take a break after a while and call
okay.
Chief Kirtner and see, but that's the only one that
Right.
put a minimum bid in the advertisement, so we'll table that, and we'll try to get with Kurt And also under new business, we have a memorandum of understanding. This is regarding the use of your facility to conduct the state traffic school course. We are now required to provide this memorandum of understanding per our Administrative Support Branch, Department of Vehicle Regulation. Nothing is changing regarding our use of your facility, nor are any of the requirements changing. The Division of Driver Licensing would also like to express our gratitude and appreciation for you allowing us to use your facility and look forward to working with you in the future. I guess I'll need to read this. This agreement is entered into between the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Division of Driver Licensing, hereinafter referred to as the Kentucky Transportation TCDL, and the Benton Courthouse, hereinafter referred to as BC. Whereas the parties have deemed it appropriate and necessary that Kentucky DCDL utilizes the services of the Benton Courthouse for the use of facilities in the distribution of classroom instruction associated with the state traffic school and graduated license program. Whereas a memorandum of agreement is appropriate and proper mechanism for the implementing the required services. Now for this agreement is hereby made and entered into by Kentucky TCDL and the Benton Courthouse as follows. Responsibilities of the Benton Courthouse. BC shall be responsible for providing any applicable insurance for the facility. BC shall be responsible for providing a list of dates when classrooms are not available. The Benton Courthouse shall provide the necessary equipment required for the instructor to perform the functions of the class. The Benton Courthouse shall provide adequate seating in conjunction with the number of clients attending the class. We shall ensure that heating and cooling is provided and working properly for the duration of the class time schedule. Benton Courthouse shall provide access to the classroom, appropriate lighting, and directional information for clients taking the class. We shall provide access to restrooms and furnish required necessities for use. Benton Courthouse shall keep all contact information up to date. Any changes and all invoicing is to be sent to and payment will be issued by Sherry Tracy Thomas at Eastern Kentucky University. Do they pay us for this? I thought it was a freebie. Section 2, Kentucky TCDL shall provide classroom frequency and number of individuals scheduled to attend based on enrollment each month. Kentucky TCDL shall leave the classroom restrooms in the condition they were found in prior to the class starting. The Kentucky TCDL through Eastern Kentucky University shall submit 0 for the use of the classroom located at 1101 Main Street, Old Circuit Courtroom, 2nd floor, Benton, Kentucky. No modification or changes of any provision in the contract shall be made or construed to have been made unless modification is mutually agreed to in writing by both parties. A modification shall be used if the parties agree to increase or decrease funds, revise the scope of work, extend the time of performance within the current biennium, or any other change. In the event any section of this agreement is declared invalid or unenforceable, the remainder of this agreement shall remain in full force and effect, and all responsibilities and duties of the parties shall be performed as set forth herein. This memorandum of agreement may be canceled by either party at any time for or without cause by providing a 30-day notice. The initial term of the contract is July 1, 2012 through June 30th, 2013. The terms and conditions of this agreement may be extended or amended according to the provisions of KRS Chapter 45A. This agreement may be renewed at the completion of the initial contract period for one additional year period through the biennium upon mutual agreement of the parties and the availability of funds. Such mutual agreement shall take the form of a modification to the contract under Section 1 above. By signing the contract, the parties agree to and accept the terms of the conditions detailed above. You gonna let them continue to use the courtroom? I'll need a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between Marshall County Department of Transportation.
Motion to approve, Judge.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. I just want to send that in. We have also our county road aid agreement. This is the proposed county road aid agreement contract and resolution for fiscal year 2013. Now, the money included in the contract is 60% less 3% set aside for an emergency fund of your county's share of the projected revenue that will be available for the next fiscal year. If you desire to continue the cooperative program, have your fiscal court take action on this contract. This contract is the co-op agreement between the Kentucky Department of Transportation and Marshall County. The contract is made between the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural and Municipal Aid, and the Fiscal Court of Marshall County, Kentucky. The initial apportionment to the county is 60% of its total allocation based on revenue estimates supplied by the Office of State Budget Director, less 3% set aside for an emergency fund. For the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2012, this amount is $803,474. This amount, when added to any subsequent apportionments and any unencumbered balance of previous apportionments to the said county, will be expended by the Kentucky Department of Rural and Municipal Aid to aid the county in the maintenance, reconstruction, or construction of county roads in said county. The fiscal court hereby agrees and directs that their pro rata share of the county road aid fund due monthly from the finance cabinet be assigned to the Transportation Cabinet's Division of Accounts for fiscal year 2013. Unless specifically excluded within the contract, all county roads and streets are part of this contract. This includes all structures within the limits of the project. The Department of Rural and Municipal Aid will disperse funds to the county of Marshall for materials, labor, and equipment necessary for the county to accomplish maintenance, repairs, and improvements on county roads. This assistance is extended insofar as the funds are available from the county's share of the county road aid program allocation reflected by this contract. The county will be responsible for all costs in excess of the county road aid funds. The Department of Rural and Municipal Aid may assist the county in fulfilling its road maintenance, repairs, and improvement needs for the following method: disperse funds to the county for materials and work performed by the contract, disperse funds to the county for materials obtained by the contract, disperse funds to the county for rental or purchase of road maintenance and construction equipment. Rental rates shall be based on current edition of the Blue Book for rental of equipment or the Transportation Cabinet's official rental rates. Disperse funds to the county for the hourly rate for personnel who perform the work. This rate may include employee fringe benefits such as leave, overlay, retirement, Social Security, insurance, etc. The fiscal court stipulates and hereby certifies that all county road aid funds will be expended within the rights-of-way limits of the county roads and their appurtenances. This contract does not relieve county government of its responsibilities for county roads and bridges. The county will require any right-of-way contemplated under this contract. The county also assumes responsibility for any claims for damages arising from said acquisitions. The county will hold harmless and save the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and its officials and employees free from all claims or liability for damages of any nature whatsoever due to or arising from the performance of this contract. The county will reimburse the Department of Rural and Municipal Aid for any loss it may sustain arising out of the performance of this contract by the department. Such loss as sustained by the Department of Rural and Municipal Aid may be charged to this county's apportionment in this or future fiscal years. Should any balance of this county's apportionment remain after performance of this contract, such balances will remain to the credit of the county for performance of future contracts by the Department of Rural and Municipal Aid. It is agreed that any materials purchased by the Department of Rural and Municipal Aid and delivered to the county shall be used by the county only on county roads and bridges. The general administration of the program herein designated shall be under the jurisdiction of the Department of Rural and Municipal Aid. Should conditions arise which in the judgment of the Commissioner of Rural and Municipal Aid render it burdensome to the general welfare of the Commonwealth to continue any work commenced under terms of this contract, the department may suspend or curtail such work. It is further agreed between the parties hereto that all obligations incurred under this contract are subject to any law or regulations now existing or hereinafter enacted or promulgated. The fiscal court acknowledges its total responsibility for county roads. The county judge executive of said county and the Commissioner of Rural and Municipal Aid or their authorized representatives, insofar as their actions are in accord with the laws of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, shall act for their respective party on all matters arising under this contract. The department reserves the right to cancel this contract at any time deemed to be in the best interest of the department by giving 30 days written notice on such cancellation to the County Fiscal Court. If the contract is canceled under the provisions, the department shall reimburse the County Fiscal Court according to the terms hereof to the date of such cancellation. The county will pass the attached resolution. A copy of that resolution shall be attached to and made a part of this contract. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and pass on the contract, and then we'll do the resolution. Do I hear a motion to approve the contract between the county and the Division of Rural and Municipal Aid of the Kentucky Transportation
Make a motion
Cabinet?
to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. I think it would be appropriate from this point on that the county attorney or his deputy read all these, okay.
I have a person here ready and available to do that, Sean.
All right, this is the resolution of the Fiscal Court of Marshall County. It's a resolution adopting and approving the execution of a county road aid co-op program contract between the Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural and Municipal Aid for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2012, as provided in the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and accepting all roads and streets referred to therein as being a part of the county road system. Be it resolved by the Fiscal Court that the Fiscal Court does hereby accept all roads and streets referred to in said contract as being part of the county road system, and the Fiscal Court does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract, and does hereby accept said contract and by such acceptance agrees to all of the terms and conditions therein stated. And the county judge executive of the county is hereby authorized and directed to sign said contract as set forth on behalf of the fiscal court of Marshall County, and the county clerk of Marshall County is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto. Gentlemen, I'd ask your approval of the resolution.
Make a motion to approve the resolution, Judge.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Could I get each of you to sign on the A's, and then we'll get it certified? I see Chief has just walked in. I was gonna call you, Chief. We opened bids a minute ago, and we tabled them because, let me find the, where's the folder on that?
I apologize for being late.
No, that's fine. I thought I figured you was working, so I was gonna just try to reach you. We only had one bid, Chief, and you had stated in your bid advertisement that we needed a minimum bid of 500 on the 1975 T-Craft and trailer.
Yes, sir.
The bid was only 250. Then the bid for the 201 Ford Econoline was 400, and the van was 300. So I didn't know, we just tabled it because we wanted to talk with you to see what the squad wanted to do on this.
If it's not an issue, do we have to rebid that? If we remove the minimum bid, would we have to rebid that, or can we accept bids as is?
And I'll leave that up to the legal team.
I think you can go ahead and accept it.
Yeah, I
It's only
agree.
one bid.
So it was only one bid, so.
Well, on behalf of the squad, we'll go ahead and accept those bids, clear them off the property, get them off the tax rolls and any insurance costs for the county, so we'll just go ahead and accept those as is.
All right. You've heard the recommendation of Chief Kirkner.
Motion to accept the bids.
Motion to accept the bids for the rescue squad surplus property. Second?
Second?
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries. Your bidder was Mike Green, Chief, and we have that here with his number and everything on it.
Contact them.
All right, next we have our annual standing order. The standing order is to approve certain reoccurring expenses pursuant to KRS 68-275-3. The fiscal court may adopt an order to pre-approve the payment of monthly payroll and utility expenses. No other expenses shall be pre-approved pursuant to this subsection without the written consent of the state local finance officer. The fiscal court of Marshall County further orders that the written consent of the state local finance officer, the following expenses be paid when due. I can read all of these. Mostly it's your salaries, utilities, phone service, if you want me to, I can go through every one of these. But this is a standing order we do each year.
We have a copy with us.
Okay, have you? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the standing order?
Motion approved.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Do you need them to sign this?
Yes, please.
I'll send this around for each of your signature. The Department of, our Public Health Department, board met, on the 10th day of May, last week. And it's that time of the year that, we set our tax rates, for the Health Department. As you know, it's not a secret, we've been going through some tough times trying to get everything in order to finish our building, but we also, as a Board of Health, had stated that we would try to start reducing our rate. The Board of Health has asked that we present a 7.5 rate this year, which is a reduction of 1/2 cent, to show a good faith effort, and hopefully can reduce it more once we finish the building and get it open. That's the recommendation of the Department of Health, signed by each of the members of the Board of Health, is to reduce the rate from 8 cents to 7.5, or reduced by 1/2 cent. What's your pleasure?
Motion approved, Judge.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no.
No.
Motion carries.
Judge, while you're talking about tax rate, just something I want to throw in there. I know Tony has talked to y'all about the way we're going to do our billing next year. And because we're going to have an outside agency to do that, I would encourage the fiscal court, and we're going to encourage all the other entities as well. We need to have the tax rates set by the first fiscal court meeting in September. Because if we miss that window, then we're going to have to delay when we start taking taxes. So, just kind of get that in the forefront of your minds that we'd like to have all our rates set by the first meeting in September.
Well, I would hope we would
Right.
beat that deadline, but yeah, that's in order to get our bills out, as we hope to do in early October. And we were able to do that last year. I think we got them out pretty much October, first week or second week in October
Yeah,
of last year.
October 1's the targeted date
Yeah.
when we start taking taxes, so.
All right. All right, treasurer's report, Emily?
Nothing exceptional to report. All accounts are balanced and in order.
Any questions on the treasurer's report? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the report.
Have a motion to accept the report subject to audit. Second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on the motion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Animal shelter report. Animals in the pen as of 3/31 was 48. Animals brought in by wardens 28, brought in by citizens 89, born at the shelter 19. 136 animals taken in, 41 dogs, 12 cats, 56 kittens, 27 puppies. Animals adopted 69, animals in foster care 7, reclaimed 9, euthanized 9, animals in the pen as of 4/30, 90. 90. Total money received was $2,490. They did have a lot of donated supplies in April. We had the Fill the Truck Day down at
Wendy's.
Wendy's, and a great response to that. Then we had Critter Day out at the park, put on by Dr. Jaco and his folks from Animal Companion Animal Clinic. We adopted several animals there that day, and Dr. Jaco has agreed to spay and neuter each one of those that were adopted that day free of charge, and there was about 48, I think, was adopted that day. So it's going to keep Dr. Jaco busy, I guess, for a little while here, but I appreciate him so much stepping up and helping us.
Judge, he did ask that we be able to provide him a receipt so that he could keep for his finances track of that.
I think that's totally in line,
Well,
yeah.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
if I don't know if Emily needs to,
Well,
get
we'll
with
just
him.
have to talk to the girls
Okay.
at Shelter to keep, because I'm sure they're gonna follow up on that. All right, we have the Jonathan Creek Water District audit. I have reviewed it. Looks real good. Of course, we share this with the state auditor's office, as we do with all of our special districts, and apparently that's not the case in a lot of counties, because there seems to be a little bit of a I guess you would call a thrust right now by the auditor's office to get the special taxing districts to conform and present audits to the fiscal court. Many courts, as we found out, don't require this. Why, I don't know, but they don't. So I would entertain a motion to accept the audit of the Jonathan Water District.
Make that motion, Judge.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
It's here for anybody's review. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. We will be having a county road aid hearing this afternoon at 1:30 here in the fiscal courtroom. We do this every year. The purpose of the hearing is to get any comments people might have on the uses of the county road aid fund. This is a requirement, and anyone who would like to attend, you're certainly welcome. It will be at 1:30 this afternoon. You all had a chance to review the bills. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
Make a motion.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Any other business come before the court?
Judge, I have a small personnel item. And then the other thing, I didn't really elaborate on why I voted no on the health department tax, but I would like to. We've talked about this, and we've talked about the tax rate for some time, and I know Kathy's here from the health department, but as I said last year, the health department increased that tax originally to build a building, and I think if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, it was about $7 million that was set aside for the whole project. Is that right? What was the total set aside? For the building, right, $4 million for the building. Which I think in this economy is a lot of money for a building. But the one thing that I have asked for, or the thing that I felt like taxpayers, at least the ones that have expressed concerns to me, have asked for, was that we go back to the original tax rate as soon as we had a building constructed. And I know we've got some issues with it, but I think the money is there to complete the construction, unless I'm wrong about that, but I know the money was set aside. So the reason that I've
Well,
voted,
you know, we really don't know until the engineers, that seismic people tell us what's gonna have to be done to make the building totally safe and to meet all ADA requirements, which that is and Jeff can tell you that we can't talk too much about it
Right.
since lawsuits are pending on this matter. Of course, we still have not received from the state, what cuts we're gonna take. Have you heard anything, Kathy, yet from,
Just the two that they've mentioned that we're gonna get, was, the 57,500 in 2013 and 115,000 projected in 2014.
These
That's
are-
just state.
that's
Federal has
state
not-
cuts? Federal, we have not heard anything on the federal yet.
And like I said, I've gone to the meetings for years and we've known cuts were coming. I've sat through all the meetings where we've known cuts were coming, and that's why I questioned building a building that size in the first place. But I have maintained that I would advocate for the reduction in the tax, and I feel like that's what I owe to the people that put me in office, is to continue to advocate for that. So that's why I voted no. It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal against anybody involved. It's just what I said I would do.
Well, public health continues to grow, and the need for public health in our community is, we can show over the years that the usage at the Marshall County Public Health Department and the services we provide have increased tremendously over the years, and to cut services is something that I would object to. You know, we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out, because we have no control what the state or the federal government is gonna do in the way of their funding. But we do know that our services continue to grow. The amount of people we see continue to get larger, and I suspect that's gonna happen during this economic downturn that we've gone through. But,
Agreed.
you know.
Agreed. I think at some point taxpayers can only shoulder so much, so that's
I
where I'm
agree.
coming from.
All right. Did you want an executive session, did you
Please.
say?
Judge, before you do that, before y'all go into executive session, I'm just gonna give you a report update. The sheriff's office, we were audited by the Department of Homeland Security out of Washington DC last week on our radio grants. Passed everything with flying colors. David does an absolutely fantastic job when it comes to, getting all the documentation together, so I wanted to report on that. Also, the bridge has been floated downriver. It's sitting docked, ready to be put in place. Encourage everyone, if they want to watch, either go to the amphitheater or Cherokee Park or go to Fenton. Do not come down to where the bridge is. We will chase you off. If it becomes an issue, we'll take care of that. And the other thing is, this week is a Police Officers Memorial Week, and do keep in mind, of all the police officers throughout the nation that has lost their lives protecting the public. And Marshall County is fortunate because it's been many, many decades since Marshall County has lost a police officer, and hopefully it'll continue to be that way.
All right. You've heard the request to go into executive session. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Call the court back into regular session. There was a little personnel matter regarding our maintenance down at the judicial building and the sheriff's complex and detention facility. We have sending a letter clarifying the duties and where people are to be located, and hopefully that will solve that problem. Russell, you had
We're getting quite a bit of scrap metal from culverts that we've changed out and everything, and I was wanting to request permission to advertise for bids.
do you want to advertise for bids or look at, I think the refuse department, did you check with them? Have they already done that, or you've got quite a bit, and you've got some old salt.
Old salt beds, it's not any good anymore.
Okay.
Jeff just felt like I needed to advertise. in the
Probably be
paper.
best, yeah. Do I have a motion to allow our road superintendent to advertise for some surplus metals?
Make that motion, Judge.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Jeff, would you like to introduce your, intern, is that?
Yes. You step forward, young man.
And
This is Darren Powers. He's a first-year law student, University of Kentucky. He's working with us this summer on the revising the Tourist Commission ordinance and bringing that up to date. It's been several years since that's done, and as well as he's gonna work with us on some other things. He wanted to sit in today to see how the fiscal court works. So,
All right, welcome, glad to have you. Good to see you.
I checked all the YouTube videos online and didn't see him burning any couches or cars after the.
All right. Very
I heard
good.
that was Russell.
I know.
Yeah, he was up there.
Yeah, I was.
All right, you've had an opportunity, do we approve the bills yet? We got them paid? Okay. Any other business come before the court?
Judge, do you have a preference? We had talked about reviewing the nuisance complaints that we had on file. Do you have a preference if we look at those at the first meeting of every month, or do you have a preference on that, or the end of the month?
Doesn't matter, whichever.
Do you
Doesn't
have a
matter to me.
preference since,
Whatever
so at
be-
the next meeting, could we review those and just,
Yeah,
okay.
that'd
Would
be
that be
fine.
all right with y'all?
Yep,
Okay.
be fine with me.
Yeah, as long as you get it where I got it on the schedule, I can
Right.
remember to bring them.
All right,
Mike?
Yes, sir.
Did you tell them about possibly leasing them mowers out?
yeah, we looked at, the possibility of leasing the mowers and tractors rather than going ahead and bidding. There wasn't a lot of difference. It was about $10,000. And we have already appropriated, in the budget for those. But we'll do whatever the court wants to do, but there wasn't that much difference. We met with Mark, Wilson, with John Deere, who got the bid.
Right.
So, whatever your pleasure, but
To be a savings of 10,000?
No,
no.
Cost 10,000? And then you would save on equipment,
it
Well,
was 30 something
maintenance, I'm assuming.
dollars a year.
Yeah, it wasn't all as much as we had hoped it would be.
It's be $31,082.04 a year for 3 years. You'd either turn them back in or then pay $100,000.
To own it.
Yeah, so we,
or get new ones and start anew.
right.
So you'd save 10,000 every 3 years if you,
No, you
Got
wouldn't
your
say,
place.
well, if you just bought them outright, you'd save it.
Yeah, just save 10,000 by buying them outright rather than leasing them. So, we do have them in the budget for 2 this year. We'll take another look next year to see what it might be.
so basically we would spend 60 to lease 2 versus paying 200 to purchase. Is that right? Per year?
2 tractors would be $31,000 a year
Both
Right.
of them together would be 31.
for 3 years. Then I guess the 4th year, you either send
But-
them back or you
Right.
give them another $100,000
Yeah.
to keep.
What I'm saying though is it would delay that upfront cost at
Yeah.
the cost of $10,000 to the county. I don't know, what do y'all think? Just purchase? Or do y'all? I mean, it would give us money in our,
The lease, do you have to maintain them, Russ?
Yes.
Yes.
They don't cover any of that.
It'd be warranted.
Well, you've got them under warranty when you buy them. The warranty would be, probably be the same, Terry.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
meant
that.
general maintenance, so
Oh,
you'd have to.
no,
do all
we
that.
do that.
You'd have to do that on the lease one.
Just more or less making
Of course, they're brand new.
3 payments.
How long is
Yeah.
it with him?
Let's see, I believe it was a year.
1 year or so many hours.
Right.
And then,
And that was figured on a 900-hour a year lease.
isn't that, if you lease them, how's the warranty work?
He didn't really, I just took it, we'd still have to take care, if something happened to him after the regular warranty. I mean,
I'm not sure about that. I don't know.
we can find out for sure, but he just got us some numbers.
Do y'all want him to check on it, or what's?
Yeah.
what's your
We can
want?
check on it, I mean, I think, there's a couple of counties that are just running along with the lease, aren't they, Russell?
Well, I checked in with Graves County on some of the leases they're doing, particularly on those trucks we talked about, Bob.
Yeah.
They don't lease them anymore, they buy them. And they keep them a year and turn them back. Now, they don't use salt, they don't haul anything but white rock.
No riprap, you don't damage the beds.
No,
probably,
it's,
like we do.
Now, and I also talked with Callaway County, they did that 1 year, they was not satisfied at all. Tony said they made money 1 year, and that was the first year, and since then, he said the lease didn't really work out, so they buy them, keep them a year and then turn them back. And he said he could get us all the numbers on it, but the leasing wasn't a good way to go in his opinion. Callaway County said the same thing. I went up and met with Larry, and talked about that. He said, we did it 1 year and didn't work out.
Okay,
It was some auction company out of Atlanta
yeah,
that was
yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it sounds like the biggest objective into doing that would be considering the maintenance cost or versus the warranty. I don't know how much we're spending on, to maintain them, like, if something goes wrong with them mechanically.
Yeah,
On the trucks,
Yeah, how long is our warranties on those new ones, no, on the
on
tractors?
the tractors.
I believe it was,
They 3 years?
I don't think it's
30.
3 years.
I think it's one, Terry,
One.
but we'll get,
I'll check.
Usually it's so many hours and so many years.
900, it was 900 hours. or
Per
1
year for leasing.
Per year, yeah. So I don't know whether that rolls over. I'm not sure.
I'll check more into it as far as the,
Okay.
who takes care of what.
Yeah, we can get Mark and find out. Mark Wilson. All right, any other business come before the court?
Have none.
Entertain a motion.
Motion adjourned.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Meeting adjourned.